It is Thursday, October 10th. Good morning and welcome to THG News Today, right here on THG Network. My name is Mervin Hanley. Today's edition is powered by Carl & Sons Unique Bakery on the island of St. Martin. If this is your first time, we welcome you and we encourage you to subscribe to our network's channel. And if it's not your first time, then welcome back. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terrance Drew, he was out of the country for a bit. He attended the UN General Assembly in New York City, and then he went off to Washington, D.C. to meetings with PAHO, and then he was in Louisiana, I believe it is. And so he gave updates on his trip, also what is happening in the Federation. So we're going to present that to you. But before we do that, let me tell you about Barbuda, now accessible more than ever, following the recent opening of the Barbuda International Airport just last week. We reported this on THG yesterday, but not in detail, but we have information now. From November 1st, travelers can enjoy 4 daily flight options to and from the island of Barbuda on LIAT. The launch of these flights marks a significant milestone in enhancing Barbuda's connectivity and tourism offerings, as well as providing a crucial boost to the island's growing economy. The new airport is set to play a pivotal role in attracting visitors and facilitating easy travel between Antigua and Barbuda. So there you have it, that LIAT will be making 4 daily flight options to and from the island of Barbuda. So that's great news. And as I mentioned it to you earlier, let's now join Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terrance Drew, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, in his updates to the nation. This was first here on Tuesday afternoon. So let's give a listen to Prime Minister. Here goes.
As you know, each time I make a visit to any other country, I usually would present right after to the people as to the purpose of the visit and what are the opportunities that would have been garnered from that visit. Very recently, I would have traveled on September 20th to October 3rd to the United States of America to attend the United Nations General Assembly. As you know, this meeting of the United Nations is the most significant in terms of international diplomacy and multilateral engagements. And so I traveled with a delegation, which would have included the foreign minister, also Minister Joel Clark, 2 PSAs, and others who were part of that delegation. I want to say that it was a very successful trip, and a trip that, of course, has opened up a number of opportunities. So to quickly summarize as to what we would have done, I had multiple engagements with our people in New York and across the United States, but specifically New York, our citizens who are citizens in the diaspora. We had about 4 separate engagements. My first engagement was with our citizens, our people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I attended a breakfast honoring the 41st anniversary of independence. We also had a town hall meeting, a group called the CCCD, which aims to promote a number of critical issues with respect to the country. I also attended their gala. And so we also had an engagement post my delivery at the UN. So we had multiple engagements. And lastly was the church service there in New York, honoring, of course, in honor of our 41st independence anniversary. So I want to say to our residents and our citizens rather in New York that your welcoming spirit is well received and fully appreciative of how you engage us while we were there. And having 4 to 5 activities with you demonstrates how serious we are when we speak about diaspora engagements, and to say to you that even though you live abroad, you can still help to advance your beautiful home. As we say in St. Kitts and Nevis, we're a navel string berry. You can still help in its advancement. And so we take that very, very seriously. In addition to engaging our people in the diaspora, there are a number of things that I did while I was there. And I will go through a number of the very significant meetings that I engaged in. One I engage in high-level side events, such as Summit of the Future, where that was our delegation participated, and it stressed the urgency for climate action and multilateral cooperation. We also engage in high-level climate policy launch held by the German Chancellor Scholz and the Samoan Prime Minister, where I also spoke. And at that meeting, I advocated for enhanced climate financing, meaning we need finance for adaptation, mitigation, things to deal with the climate crisis. As we see presently, the United States is facing a second major hurricane in a couple of weeks. And I hope we are understanding that this is because of climate change. This is going to be the norm. This is the norm. It will be the norm for the Caribbean, for the United States of America, all of us who are in the pathways of typhoons and hurricanes. This is the new reality. And this is why we are saying that we need financing in order to be able to adapt and to mitigate a lot of the issues surrounding the climate crisis at this particular time. I also participated in the UN AIDS event on HIV and AIDS, where I was a presenter there and spoke to the issues. I spoke to St. Kitts and Nevis's position with respect to HIV and AIDS. And I urged at the meeting that we need to continue and we must not take our feet off the gas when it comes to funding HIV and AIDS prevention and treatment and so forth. This epidemic, we have gained a lot of grounds and we must not lose ground. I highlighted the fact that St. Kitts and Nevis now is a country where there is zero transmission of HIV or AIDS from mother to child. That is a significant achievement. Also participated in annual L69 ministerial meeting that was done as well. Addressed the Pact for the Future and the UN Secretary Council reform. That was done from the delegation standpoint. Another one that I participated in and had the opportunity to speak was the Antimicrobial Resistance, AMR, high-level meeting that was held on September 26. This is significant. What does that mean? It means that a lot of the antibiotics are not effective against certain infections at a particular time. If we were to lose the effectiveness of antibiotics, for example, it means that a lot of the diseases that we have conquered over these many years, they would gain the upper hand. And that would result in significant mortality or deaths or morbidity, meaning long-term illness. And I'm speaking to stuff like things like tuberculosis, pneumonia, even down to urinary tract infections, things that we treat so easily today. If we don't take a stock and look at what is happening with resistance to antibiotics, we can end up in a situation that existed before antibiotics even came on the scene. And so we have a significant responsibility as a country and as a region. And as the main spokesman for health, when it comes to CARICOM, this matter is dear to me. However, well, I must also add that is regional Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, who is part of the leadership on this matter. But it's critical that we take it very seriously across St. Kitts and Nevis and the world. So the health ministry will be looking at how we're going to improve our stance when it comes to how do we manage the use of antibiotics. And I want to stress that because you have a common cold, you do not need antibiotics. What your grandmother used to give you can still work. Lots of fluids can still work. Maybe you might need 2 paracetamol, get some rest, drink some soup. Those things are still important to deal with the flu because it's mainly to deal with the symptoms. But today, we see that as soon as somebody starts to cough, they go to the doctor and they ask for antibiotics. And sometimes the doctor might feel pressured to give them antibiotics. These are the things that are leading to antimicrobial resistance, which is a serious, serious issue. So we are going to be calling for a change in culture, a change in attitude when it comes to how we how do we deal with antibiotics. Only issue it when it's absolutely necessary. A cold doesn't need that. A flu doesn't need that. That can be treated with the remedies we used to have. And if something changes, you go to your doctor, and your doctor can determine that. I want to say that I had the opportunity to meet with the United Nations Secretary to discuss the issues of small island developing states. Mr. Guterres, His Excellency, and we spoke about a number of critical matters with respect to states, such as the Multi-Dimensional Vulnerability Index, the MDVI or the MVI. That is to say, don't just judge us on our GDP, but judge us on our vulnerability. Because St. Kitts and Nevis, with one major hurricane, all of our GDP, it can cause damage multiple times our GDP. So we are a very small economy, we're a very small country, and therefore we are saying judge us on that. And that would allow us to have access to funding and grants, which can help us to put in the necessary infrastructure to help us to mitigate and to adapt to the climate crisis. And I'm happy that that was accepted in the UN after some 30 years, and I hope now to see action behind it. And I spoke to him about our sustainable island state model and how we intend to deal with the issue of climate change and development issues and so forth. Also met with the president of Ghana on the September 22nd. We discussed a number of critical issues, including visa-free access to Ghana, which we'll pursue. So that St. Kitts and Nevis, our residents, our citizens and so forth, rather our citizens can have visa-free access to Ghana. Something, Ghana is a significant player in Africa, and we think that we should build this relationship and build our relationship with the mother continent. And so we'll be pursuing visa-free access with Ghana. I also met with the Saudi foreign minister. He was the head of delegation. We discussed about critical matters, including opening our embassy and consulate in Saudi Arabia, which they have accepted. So I can say that our embassy in Saudi Arabia will be opened very soon. And we are the first country in the CARICOM to have visa-free access to Saudi Arabia. And so we continue to build our relationship with that significant country in the Middle East. And so I want to thank Saudi again. I express our appreciation for helping us with the procurement that we are going through now of 2 brand new generators, 9 megawatts each, a total of 18 megawatts, and to further our discussion on geothermal development on Nevis, which would help to transform our federation. So those meetings went extremely well, and I want to thank the foreign minister for Saudi Arabia for that excellent meeting. I also met with UAE Special Envoy, where we discussed renewable energy, tourism, and infrastructure, again saying to them that we want to build out our renewable energy here in St. Kitts and Nevis, specifically the geothermals as well. And I will have an update, specific updates to the outcomes of those 2 meetings in short order. Definitely before the end of November, I will give an update. Now, when it comes, we also, from the UN, as you know, I made my UN speech, which covered a number of salient points. I know, it would have been listened here in St. Kitts and Nevis. But I think the stance that St. Kitts and Nevis took with respect to this is that we spoke about global issues such as global peace. As you know, St. Kitts and Nevis is a peaceful country, and we promote peace. We ask for peace wherever there is conflict, especially in the Middle East at this particular point in time. And we are saying that, the situation there where we see so many children and women, especially who are dying, that St. Kitts and Nevis is against that, and we are for peace so that people can have a hopeful outlook and life. We spoke about human dignity. We spoke about leaving no one behind in this world. Some of the other points is that we look at global climate action for small island developing states. We spoke about the MVI, reforming the global governance for equity and inclusivity. We spoke about Taiwan's inclusion in global discussions. And we also spoke about Cuba and their situation. We want justice, of course, for Cuba, who is a significant player in the region. And we also spoke about the situation in Haiti, which are critical for us as well. We also spoke about St. Kitts will hold the Island Summit next year, which is a significant development for us, and that is to deal with, of course, sustainability, climate change, and how those things affect small islands. And so I think that our speech covered broadly and put St. Kitts and Nevis's position clearly that we want to be a part of the solution, and we are already part of the solution. We are not just at the United Nations to complain, but St. Kitts and Nevis has brought to the fore in terms of its discussion and what we are doing here to be a model to the world, and we'll continue to build out our sustainable island state, which is our moonshot, or it is our bold step to say to the world that we are, and I use the word in my speech, Talawa. We are small, but we are Talawa, as we say here in St. Kitts and Nevis, which means we punch above our weight and we have the wherewithal to contribute to the advancement of our human family, and we will make our voices heard, our voice heard at the table. When I left the United Nations, I went on to Washington, D.C. for Pan-American Health Organization meeting where St. Kitts and Nevis is part of the directing council. As a matter of fact, I participated in that meeting directly where we discussed a number of pertinent issues. I also met with the secretary, with the director, rather, and we discussed a number of matters. I spoke about looking at violence from a public health perspective. I have brought that now to PAHO. We have brought it now to the OAS. I also brought it to the United Nations, to the CARICOM, and right here locally. I am going to be the champion for that across the region, in whichever forum I am in, because this issue of violence is affecting the whole region, and we have to deal with it, not only from a local perspective, but also from a regional and international perspective as well. And so I would have mentioned that there. I then left Washington and went on to Louisiana, where I visited the Melhenny Company, which is the company, the parent company for Tabasco that we know very well. And we had meaningful discussions. One, Tabasco is seeking to partner with us and have asked us if we can be part of their suppliers for their peppers, which we are seriously looking at this particular time, that will create significant opportunities. We'll be the only country in the Caribbean with such an arrangement. And I want to thank Her Excellency Harriet Claxton, our special envoy, who has facilitated that. As you know, the top leadership of Tabasco Global, the Melhenny Company, which is a $1 billion company, visited me here sometime in 2023, where initial discussions started. And those discussions have now translated to the point where we now have a demonstration farm where we are actually growing the peppers to see how St. Kitts and Nevis would fare. That is how advanced we are at this particular time in terms of looking at any possibilities of partnership. So I want to thank them for welcoming me with open arms and looking for the opportunities that this arrangement can bring to both St. Kitts and Nevis and to the company. After leaving Tabasco, I traveled to visit Southern University, and I visited the Agricultural Center. As you know, agriculture is dear to me, and I'm reaching out as much as possible to make sure that we can look at it from a diversified perspective, making, possibilities of making agreements with large companies so that we can supply them, us growing our own food here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So I want to announce that we now have 5 scholarships to Southern University for various areas of agriculture, including pre-vet. That is amazing to have scholarships to a very well-regarded American historic Black college or university. Very, very significant development. And so those scholarships will be offered. Of course, they come with the credit. We have our people here who are qualified for those. So we want to see our people, apart from the past scholarships, the new paradigm that we have set with this is to have full scholarships in these areas. We already have full scholarships for PhD, and I met with the students that we have there. We have currently 3 students through the program and 1 who is an independent student, but nonetheless a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, who is at Southern University. I was quite impressed with the university. The university has the best marching band in the whole of the United States of America. And they played as part, I was their guest and the band played for me. It's amazing what they do there. And that band wants to come to St. Kitts and Nevis and play for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I think they're normally in, anywhere you see a marching band in a music video or in a movie, you can bet that Southern University is that marching band. I think they might have done a piece, and you know who the artists are, and they perform at the Super Bowl and so forth. So they have attained a very high level of sophistication when it comes to marching bands and performances. And they want to partner with us on that end. But I can tell you that it was an amazing, amazing performance. And so opportunities from that visit, more scholarships. Scholarships to an American university is unheard of. And I want to thank Her Excellency, Hadia Claxton, Special Envoy, who cleared the way and set the ground for us to have these meaningful discussions. And so I want to thank the chairman, the president of this wonderful institution of the United States of America for partnering with us. And there are lots of other possibilities. Right now, they're helping us with our cannabis industry. They have the largest study of cannabis in the whole of the United States of America, period. And it's at Southern University. And they're experts who are helping us free of cost to get our cannabis industry on the way. They're helping us with our animal husbandry. An expert in cattle farming has visited here and is helping us with that. They're helping us with our egg production, for example. They come, they look at our hatchery, and they're helping us with that. So with any area in agriculture where we need help, they are helping us, no cost to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. From education, from the PhD level to the undergrad level, to the technical assistance, the expertise that we need, they are helping us. Because we are saying to them that St. Kitts and Nevis wants to become, I would say, self-sufficient when it comes to our food production. And they are helping us significantly. So I can't thank Southern University enough. And these are the type of opportunities we want for our people, for our young people to move forward. And so that trip was a quite successful trip with many opportunities for our people. I also had an opportunity to meet with Chef Andres, Jose Andres. You all know Chef Jose Andres. I was invited by the Clinton Foundation at that meeting to speak principally with myself and Chef Jose Andres from World Kitchen. You should look him up. I think he was nominated for a Nobel Prize. He's the gentleman who goes around and feeds people. Out of that meeting, they want to make contact with our farming community here so that they can help to enhance that farming community and increase production. And so I want to say to Chef Andres, Jose Andres, and the Clinton Foundation for this meaningful discussion that presents a number of opportunities as well for our people. And at that meeting was Senator Coons of Delaware, same state where Joe Biden comes from. And I want to thank Senator Coons for his positive input, his willingness to help St. Kitts and Nevis as well. So as you can see, I had many engagements that open up many opportunities for our people and for our advancement as a country.
That was the Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terrance Drew. Ladies and gentlemen, do join me again tomorrow morning, God's willing, at 6 o'clock for a similar presentation. Tomorrow we'll have commentary instead of the news right here on THG Network. Until such time, have yourselves a wonderful day. I am Mervin Hanley.
Sons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Coal Bay and on the Pondville. In Coal Bay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punfill, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colby location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feases, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and dal puri. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feases, located at the entrance to the Cotton Ginnery Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They're also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.